You tune in to Real Talk with Tamara, where conversations are real, voices are heard, and the real stars here. The real stars here. No filter, no fear. Truth in the mic, let the whole world hear. Stories unfold, voices sincere. Welcome to the place where the real stars here. Life and love to the latest news. Community voices, different views. Breaking it down so we all stay clear. Honest conversations live right here. Speak your truth, let it be known. This is the space where your voice has a home. No judgment here, just real and clear. Real talk with Tamara, the real starts here. Real talk with Tamara. Real people. Real stories, real truth.
Welcome to Real Talk with Tamara, you guys. On today's show, I have Shelby County Commissioner Henri Brooks. Commissioner Brooks is a veteran Memphis politician, currently serving for District 7, a Democrat with 14-year background as a Tennessee state representative. She focuses on legislative oversight, community policing reforms, and housing. Thank you for being here, Commissioner Brooks.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be with you again, Tamara.
I know. It's you know what I think about the first time that we actually, because I put that show on YouTube like when I first started doing interviews. She was like one of my first. You was the first person that I actually interviewed. You was the first person.
Oh, my goodness.
Janice Fully-Law was the second. My dad was like, I gotta get. He was like, I know a person that I want you to interview. I said, who? He said, Henri Brooks, a really good friend of mine. I want you to interview her. I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
We came over and you were so pleasant. And I think that interview is about 14 years old.
Yes, it is. You still have that?
Yes, I still have it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna have to.
So how have you been? How is, I know that it's election. Early voting is going on. How have things been out there for you?
Well, it's a different, well, for me right now, it's a re-election. So that's, I'm running for re-election, but it's been pretty busy. And it's a little different because in my race, we have a number of people, 5 people, I believe, without any previous government background, previous electoral experience. So it's a little bit different, but we're working really hard. In fact, I concluded my day today about 5:15. So we're working every single day, days that I'm not at the county commission.
Okay, well, tell my audience a little bit about yourself. I know I said a little bit, but tell them a little bit about yourself because there's so much. I mean, there's so much more to you. I kind of want them to know about you.
Well, I think hopefully a lot of your audience members will remember me, particularly from my years in the state legislature. I served from 1992, as you said, to 2006. And I retired from the legislature, moved to, ran for the county commission and won that race in 2006. But most importantly, let me say this first. I am a grandmother. I have 2 granddaughters. I want people to know that I love dearly. And I'm a former teacher. And I continue to teach. Once a teacher, always a teacher. So I find myself, even in the work that I did in the Tennessee House of Representatives, I was always teaching. And the same goes for the county commission. I think a lot of people may remember that I filed a complaint against juvenile court who was violating the constitutional rights of Black children, denying them due process, and allowing them to incriminate themselves when presented in court. Plus, they were picking up children, black children, uh, for minor offenses, truancy, for instance, and bringing them to juvenile court, whereby they were not doing that for other non-black children. They were taking them home or taking them to the community center or taking them to church, which avoided those children getting a juvenile record. Because when you get a juvenile record, you know what that starts, you know, that starts you on a, puts you in the criminal pipeline. So I took that complaint to the Department of Justice, and they took a look at it. A couple of years later, they came down, investigated juvenile court, and then in 2007, I filed a complaint, and in 2012, my complaint was validated, and they entered juvenile court into a memorandum of agreement requiring them to make a massive overhaul in terms of reforms and in terms of how they treat children, because black children were uh, treated differently solely based on their race. Now, that is what the Justice Department said.
Mm-hmm. And I
Uh-huh.
know you're telling the truth because I remember a young man that had worked, a police officer that had worked for, well, he was a police officer. He used to
Uh-huh.
be a very good friend of mine. And I remember he was telling me, he said, we got a call tonight and I went out to a Burger King and there were a group of kids that was acting out.
Uh-huh.
They refused to leave and they was just acting crazy. And so the manager at the Burger King called and come to
Yeah.
find out it was a group of kids and their one of them's father, the main leader, was one of those famous in his TV attorneys. Okay, you
Uh-huh.
see his
Uh-huh.
father's commercials still
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I said, so what did you do? Did you take them to like juvenile court? Take them to jail? Or it's like no, we I decided to call his dad, and he was like, his dad was so ungrateful. His dad was like, "Well, I'm in the bed. Will you bring him home?" I said, "Well, if that had been black children, would you have
Yeah.
done that, or would you have taken them to jail?" So I know
Right.
you're telling the truth about that,
Uh-huh.
about what you just said about that. Tell us, Commissioner Brooks, why is it important for you to run for re-election?
Well, Tamara, thank you for asking that because a number of people, I know people want to know, and they should want to know. I am running for reelection because I want to continue. I want to, well, first of all, I want to continue. I want to finish the work I've started. Okay, and we'll get into that. But also, I want to be able to affect public policy, and public policy is very important. Uh, Public policy that improves the lives of all Shelby County residents. I am committed to transparency, accountability, and equity, same as I was back in 2022. But there are some things that I do need to finish. And one of the most important things has to do with pilots, payment in lieu of taxes. We all know and we hear all the time about real estate developers, um, you know, these big, what you call them, just big development, if you will, individuals who have a lot of influence with the chamber. And what they get is a 75% waiver of their taxes. Now, the little lady living down the street in North Memphis, South Memphis, or wherever, has to pay all of her taxes or his taxes, $300 for whatever it is. But rich developers, rich real estate folk, uh, individuals can come in, project managers, what have you, and the chamber will waive 75% of their taxes. And then
Wow.
what is so bad about that is they waive the taxes, which is our tax dollars that could be going to schools, the health department, the sheriff's department, or some other one of our responsibilities. But once they waive the taxes, there's no benefit, community benefit. Look at
Mhm.
XAI. It they were kind of pushed into, and I'm not sure that those schools actually got what they promised or not, but either way, it's not worth the health benefit, if you will. That's not the kind of benefit I want. A good benefit from anyone that is going to receive a tax waiver. But that's one of the things that I want to continue. We have about 20 reforms, and those reforms are being reviewed by the county attorney. So it's going to be a minute, maybe a couple months, but once those reforms have been reviewed, it will be time for us to take it to the county commission and pass those reforms, which will lower the amount of the tax waiver from 75% of the taxes waived to 55, lower it. And then also with that extra money, we'll be able to, what we want to do is create an education trust fund, an affordable housing trust fund, and we want to be able to have some additional money to put into the general fund and debt service. When we put additional money in the general fund, then we'll have some discretionary money to send back to the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
But I have another idea about how we can get more money in our neighborhoods also. But those are some things I'm working on. In addition to, let me say this: I want to make sure, just as I did during my first term, we got this rebuild of Region One, and so when they first rolled it out, I had some concerns about whether or not there was going to be inclusive economic participation. Black entrepreneurs, black construction workers, black uh, electricians, engineers, so forth and so on. So I wanted to make sure that there was inclusive economic activity, and I formed a task force to meet and to sort of be a watchdog over that process, because it's very important that we do keep Regional One. It used to be John Gaston.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was born, and a number of people were born. Quite frankly, it was the only place where black people, black women could go and have babies at a time when there was segregation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Black women could not, that was the only place they could go and have children and deliver their child. So we want to make sure that we keep Regional One. But you can't patch it up anymore. It's been patched and patched and patched until it's just, we're patching the patches now. So it's time to
Right.
rebuild, right? And so I want to stay in place so that I can watch that process and make sure they stay on track, and make sure that everyone who wants to participate as they move up, move to different phases of the project, that there's no sliding backwards. We keep going forward with inclusivity.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Speaking of contracts,
Uh-huh.
do you feel that during your tenure, during your since you've been seated on the commission, that the contracts have been distributed equally as it relates to African Americans?
Well, let me address the word distributed, because most contracts go out for a bid. It's a
Right,
process.
for a bid.
RFP, yes. And so we have an office called EOC, Equal Opportunity Commission, and that's part of our office. And they send out bids, RFPs, and what have you. Different kinds of packages for projects, contracts, if you will. So, and they have to take the lowest bid, but it has to be the lowest best bid. Okay, and we
Mm-hmm.
always give preference, because it's one of our resolutions or ordinances that we give preference to locally owned small businesses. So, uh, during this last time, I can say that I have seen more black participation than I saw the first time I served on the county commission.
Okay.
But we're in Memphis, so let's just be real here. We're in Memphis, Tennessee. Uh, we're in the South. Okay, we're in Tennessee. We're in this red state. Now we're in America. Let me just say that. uh, we're going to always have to. It's going to be a struggle it's going to be a push and a pull when it comes to us getting our fair share of contracts and opportunities when it comes to procurement.
Mhm. Let me
Mhm.
tell you something that my dad used to say. I used to
Well,
always say to my dad, you know, Dad, do you think that, can you agree that it's better now in this day than it was in your day? He said, well, let me just say this. I don't know about that. He said, because in my day, when you were being discriminated against, you knew that you were being discriminated against. You knew why. In
mhm.
this day, they have to hide it. So he used to always say that. So he would always say, I don't really, I can't say whether it's, but you know, my dad was very what's the word that
Upfront,
I'm looking?
outspoken.
Yes, he I miss him so much.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
to thinking about some of this stuff that's going on, and people
Uh-huh.
say all the time, "Your dad would never have stood for that." I go,
Oh,
"Yeah, I
yeah,
know."
Rick or something. My friend knows. Yes.
So, well, let me ask you this, Commissioner Brooks. We
Uh-huh.
see all of the stuff that has been in the news about the school board.
Uh-huh.
Give me your stance on that.
Well, it's a lot to unpack, but I will say the underpinning of the whole thing that bothers me and that I can't let go unchecked is the fact that you have a conservative white legislature that wants to control a black city. And in fact, they have almost they put some things in place that are taking away our control. We're a sovereign city. We have a charter. We have a constitution. So uh, that legislature, under the guise of we want to do better by the children. If that were true, that would be a good thing, but that's not true. That's not a true statement. They do not want to do better by the children because, number one, they have eliminated supplemental food, some supplemental food for women and children. Okay. And we know that, the poverty is just unbelievably high. So why would you want to cut out or eliminate funding for food for families, for children? So we know that they are not really interested in children. Also, what they've done is they've eliminated programs that would give diapers. Come on, people. You don't really care about children. So, take that off the table. That is what bothers me is that, they play this game about, or they use children, they're using children to take over the $2 billion budget of the MSCS, as well as all of the assets of MSCS. And quite frankly, I do believe that they will be coming after the city of Memphis next
Why
if
do you?
we do not stand up and fight.
Okay, when you say they're going to come after the city of Memphis, what else what do you think would be next? Like when you say the city of Memphis.
Well, when I say the city of Memphis, I mean, Memphis is a special district, so it
Mhm.
has a charter as well, and they want control. Okay, they want control. They found fault. They found enough fault to come in, well, to pass a bill to take over MSCS, Memphis Shelby County Schools, because they want the money and the assets. Okay, so what did they do? They sit down and just came up with some criteria that would enable them to do what they wanted. They wrote the bill themselves that would benefit them. Now, come on, people, how objective can that be? There was no third party involved. The very beneficiaries of control and of gaining additional assets of the school board and school system actually wrote the bill, wrote the criteria that will allow them to do that. Now, where does that happen? Except in this city. So we can't allow them to do that. We may have some issues. That's not the point here. The point is we are elected officials. We were elected by the people. Okay, this is supposed to be a democracy. So if it's a democracy, then it should be applicable to everyone. These individuals who are school board members, uh, they were elected by people. They had who had the right to vote. That is a democratic principle. Okay, so that's my rub, if you will, is the fact that they are trying to take away our democratic right to vote. They've done that, with overriding everything, saying that you all don't know how to vote. In essence, it's what they're doing is what they said. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the underpinning of that. I don't like having my democratic principles taken away when, and then you can't say that Memphis and Shelby County schools are the only, well, Memphis Shelby County district is the only district that may have some issues, okay, and that deserve this kind of treatment whereby you are going to come in and nullify the elected representatives of the people. That is what is so bothersome to me. That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Well, you hear a lot there have been quite a few of the citizens as
Hmm.
it relates to that has issues, and I know that the citizens voted a lot of well, voted all the people in on the school board, but
Hmm.
there have been a lot of citizens that have
Hmm.
had issues with what they've seen as far as what is going on with the people that they elected. What
Yeah.
in instances like that, what do you say?
Well, of course, there's a process for everything, but this is not the process by allowing the state to come in and take over and take
Mm-hmm.
away, nullify your vote. Is what they've done. Invalidate your vote. Say that, there, maybe you do have problems with them. Then we need to go through a process, a democratic
Mm-hmm.
process, such as recall. But you do not come in, do not create a bill that allows you, who will be the beneficiary of any action or whatever that bill says or that can be done, you will be the beneficiary of it. We can't let that happen, because if so, then once they get to school board, as I said, what keeps them from going after the city of Memphis, which is just a special district
Mm-hmm.
within Shelby County? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, if let's back up, we should not have voted that no confidence vote. Of course, I did not. I voted no, uh, because I knew better. Okay. But the thing is, that opened the door. And when you open the door to people who, want to take what doesn't belong to them, they're going to come in and take everything. Not just one thing or two things. They're going to come in and take everything.
Right, because because that has been an issue that you hear people saying now that they feel that people are insincere people are after the budget as it relates
Absolutely.
to the.
Well, their actions prove it. You say that you want our children to get a better education. You say, and we all do, but you say that you care about our children. You say our children deserve so much better. But what about the fact that they deserve to eat? They deserve food. Yeah, you know this, but you still cut funding for supplemental food in the summertime. And that is so important for children to have that extra food because they're not in school. And when if they were in school, they would be definitely get breakfast and lunch. So during the summer, they're not there. So some children need to have um, some supplemental food uh, services, but they're not going to do it. But you care about the children. So it's something not right with that statement.
Well, you know what, you brought up something interesting, and
Uh-huh.
I think that's a process that people need to know where to start as it relates to recall,
Uh-huh.
because that is interesting when you elect people and they get in there and they're not um, fitting for the position, when they act out in the position. I mean, because I feel like elected officials are to be held to a higher standard, although we're all human now.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But I,
Mhm.
just I don't Commissioner Brooks, just some of the, I mean, everybody's not a lady like you.
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
And so I do believe that, as especially now, because you think about the politicians that we've had in the past. We're getting a lot of ambitious people to run, and somehow they're sliding in.
Yes,
And
they are. Yeah.
uh so yeah.
Well, one thing for sure, and I would be remiss if I did not say this. And I consider myself a public servant. I really do. But one thing for sure is this: we all have a role to play. Yeah, I am the employee of the people who put me in office because they hired me when they went to vote for me. So I work for you. I'm your employee. But just like any other employer, you need to check on your employees. You need to make sure they're doing the job, just like Fred Smith or any other company owner. You're going to make sure you're going to have some tool to evaluate. You're going to have a way to watch what your employees are doing. So, with elected officials, county commission, city council, what have you, you need to come to the county commission and listen to what we're seeing about how we're going to develop public policy that controls your life. Okay,
Mhm.
because sometimes you might need to register an objection. Okay, you might need to say something because you may not be in agreement. If you're not in agreement, you need to let people know. So we all have a role, and I think one of the things that has made us put us in the position we're in is that a lot of the voters, resident citizens, have failed to, hold us accountable. You've got to do that, and you can't hold them accountable unless you do what? You got to check on them. Okay, you don't have to come to the county commission. You can just go onto the internet. It's right there. We're online. Every single meeting is online, and you have your phone, you have your laptop, what have you, and you can send emails, you can do telephone calls. I publish a red book with all of that contact information for all of your elected officials. I've been doing that since 1992 because I want to make sure that my constituents know how to reach their elected officials. But once I publish the book, I put it out there. It's free, no charge. You can call me. I'll send it. I'll put it in the mail to you. But you need to call. You need to let them know. Uh, uh, you've got to say something. You've got to hold them accountable. If you see them going astray, maybe you can get them back in line. If you say something soon, before they get too far out of line. Okay, but we all have a role to play, and I think voters and citizens need to remember you are the employer. Now, that's what elections are for. Also, when you're not doing your job, if I'm not doing my job, then I should not expect to be reelected. But I do expect to be reelected because I am doing my job. I am
Mhm.
working really hard for constituents, and I always have, because that's the way I was raised. That's the way I was mentored. Uh, you do the job that you're in, not the job that you have. uh, You don't let your ambition control, where you are right now. So what I'm doing, I'm working for my constituents, and I'm trying to improve their lives. I'm trying to develop public policy that will improve their lives, and that's what I'm supposed to do.
Let me ask you this, because you are a veteran, and you've been in
Mhm.
this for a long time, serving the people. You've had the opportunity to see change
Oh, have I
in
seen
in real
change?
time. Why do you think, compared okay, you think about when you first started running for election and you first got into office. Now we see Memphis and crime is totally out of control. Why? What is going on? Why do you think that crime is so out of control?
Well, I think there's a number of factors. One is the lack of accountability, if you will, leadership, responsible leadership in law enforcement has not been held accountable. Yes, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. I see some things going on now that should cause some individuals to be fired, or some things that are not happening. Individuals would have been fired back in the day. Okay. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it seems as if we have given up the reins. We have allowed uh, leadership, not well, yeah, political leadership, free reign. Okay, free reign, and it hasn't benefited us, and so it's gotten out of control now. Okay, it's just gotten out of control. Uh, Another factor in crime is that there's not anything to do in Memphis. Everything is centered around what one elitist group wants to do. And cultural arts are wonderful. I love culture, particularly my culture. But also, I think this, we got to have something for our children to do that they enjoy doing. And a lot of the things they enjoy doing, I don't know what it is, but, they do. So, we need to make a space for them to have some input in terms of what they want to do, and be able to do it in their neighborhoods. Uh, we just we need to rethink a lot of things around children, families, and women. We've got to rethink it because right now we're out of sync with the times. We're moving as if we were in the 50s, culturally 50s. And we're
Mm-hmm.
not. Mm-mm. We're in the 21st century culture, and it's totally different. And children are different, and with these social media, they have a different exposure on a different level. So, and we're not keeping up with that kind of movement.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that poverty also ignites crime?
Well, of course it does, because if a mother or father doesn't have work, doesn't have money to buy food, and they have children, they are not going to watch their children starve. They're going to get food for them by any means necessary. I don't condone that. I wish we all had high wage jobs so that we could feed our babies. That would be my hope. But I also know, when I live in the real world, that families are not going to sit around and just starve because they can't get work, or they're homeless. They're going to do what they need to do to survive, and we need to understand that and make appropriate changes.
I have a young lady in the chat that just
Okay.
said they need to start holding people accountable and stop giving them a slap on the wrist. Do you believe that that is going on, that they're giving slaps on the wrist?
I mean, who slap on the wrist to who?
The police. Well,
Uh,
I guess it would be the DA.
well, I haven't. I don't say. I'm not a lawyer, okay, and I don't have a law degree. But you have different uh, phases. You have different phases of crime. You have misdemeanors, you have felonies, and misdemeanors are what, 11 months, 29 days. So as opposed to putting them out there, that means it's a nonviolent offense as well. As opposed to putting them in the Division of Corrections for misdemeanor, then they do put them on probation, put them on an ankle monitor or something like that. It just depends on the situation.
Hmm.
I just can't say that everybody's getting a slap on the wrist. I don't know that to be the case. I don't condone that. If you have committed a felony, then I think you need to be held accountable to what the law prescribes for a felony offense.
Absolutely. There's Wales runs black says you're right. There needs to be more youth involvement, and we're missing the village concept is missing, and that's true because when I was growing up,
Hmm.
everybody was definitely involved
Yes, every
in the
involved.
community, and it didn't have to be relatives. I'm talking about neighbors.
I know teachers.
Hmm.
Yes, it was. That's where I think we've gone astray because, and I know for a fact, having been a teacher, uh, I know children do want discipline because when they're disciplined, they know that you care. Okay, but a lot of times now, with the society that we're in, well, that we came into, I guess, in the late '70s, early '80s, right after integration, then we had this, oh no, don't put hands on my child. You can't do that. But I think we got away from the discipline of children from third parties, meaning school teachers, principals. When we got away from that, because see, I think it was important for school teachers and principals to discipline children
Hmm.
because they had them 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So they were with the teachers almost longer than parents because parents were working, if you will, and then when they came home from work, it was almost time to do what? Eat, take a bath, and go to bed. So it wasn't a lot of interaction. So principals and teachers were doing more interacting with children than their parents. But then once we integrated and we decided to take that away from uh, discipline, away from parents, I mean teachers and principals, then we start to see more disruption, if you will, more discipline problems in
I
the
don't know why. I
children.
just kind of feel like that was a strategy so that our kids could get out of control. I do.
Well,
Because
there's
we
always a
were
strategy.
disciplined in school and it didn't kill us. I mean, it just didn't. It kind of kept us in line because we
Well,
know we didn't want to
yeah,
go to the principal's office.
right, right, and you would straighten up real quick. So, uh, I wouldn't deny that there's a grand scheme, a grand pattern, or strategy for everything, and that's a whole nother conversation.
I know.
But the truth of the matter is, you're on the right track. It was a strategy, and look where we are now. Okay, and who
I,
is it benefiting? Who is this chaos and this undisciplined dysfunction? Who is it benefiting?
the
Okay,
private prisons and the
thank
lawyers.
you. Okay, and we do not own one of them. Yes,
And
really.
speaking of that,
Mhm.
there had been a lot of backwards and forwards about the new jail. Are there any updates on that?
Well, there was an ad hoc hearing whereby they are going to put out an RFP for some architects and engineers to come in and give them some, uh, what do you call, I guess, a proposal for a new jail. Yeah, that's the latest.
Okay.
There's no movement in terms of location, well, that I know of. Let me just say that, okay? The only movement has been let's do an RFP to get some architects, engineers in to tell us, you know, to submit a response to an RFP.
Okay, because I know on the news that they was talking a lot about they didn't know they wanted the jail to there was just a lot of back and forth about where it would be and the uncertainty of it. And
Well, yeah. Well, let me say this. Let me just say that there has been a study already commissioned and paid for by uh, the sheriff, Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner. And that study suggested that it be placed out at Shelby Farms or Mullen Station.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask you this, Commissioner Brooks.
Mhm.
What do you think are the top three issues that's facing our county right now?
Oh my goodness, the top three issues right now has to be, uh, of course, public safety. Well, let me education, uh, public safety, and high wage jobs. High wage, the lack of economic development, workforce development, and high wage jobs. That's all one. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's three right there.
What
Uh,
is it going to take to get better jobs
well,
here?
we're going to have a mindset. It's going to have to be a change in the mindset, and we're going to have a change. Yeah, but you see, that's why it's so important for voters to hold elected officials accountable. We can't continue to allow the Chamber of Commerce to keep us in this plantation economy. Okay,
Hmm.
logistics and warehouses. That's all we do. Okay, $15 an hour, maybe 18. Yeah, most these jobs do not pay a living wage. So we need to move from logistics and warehousing and retail jobs to technical manufacturing, the kinds of jobs that really it's what's in the culture now. What people are doing. People are doing computers. They're doing all of this technology, but we're not teaching that. We do not have workforce development or economic development training around the trending jobs. We're still back in the 50s, putting stuff
Hmm.
on the shelf and hauling stuff in a truck. Come on. And see, we have got to move away from the Chamber of Commerce. And if you have elected officials who are afraid of the Chamber of Commerce, then you need to vote them out of office.
Tell us a little bit about who runs the chamber. Like, who are these
It's a
people?
bunch of
The
business.
vote.
Well, they're white businessmen, okay, and they have Fortune 500 businesses. Fred Smith, Henry Turley, uh, who else? Fogelman, Belts, Gluttony, all of those fellows. Okay, the people who have these Fortune 500 companies located in Memphis.
So the power brokers. So,
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
as my dad would say, the white power brokers. So what you say? So they're. I mean, so are they basically the ones running the city?
Well, if you look at it, we're not running. The elected officials are not because they are not moving toward jobs that their district is calling for, that district needs. They are not moving toward making the kinds of changes that their district needs. Say, for instance, look at public transportation. We almost don't have public transportation. It's in shambles. We have a runaway Memphis like gas and water. We have uh, pilots, if you will. You're giving these individuals who come into town and build these luxury apartments, you waive 75% of their taxes. And why are they doing that? Because they are afraid that they will upset. If they don't, they'll upset the chamber. And then who knows what the chamber does for them? I don't know, because the chamber doesn't do anything for me except get on my nerve.
Hmm.
That's it. And until we put people in office who have the courage to stand up and say, enough is enough. We're not going to do this anymore. We're doing something different because we need different outcomes. We need high wage jobs. Okay, our children need to have places to go, safe places in the neighborhood to go. We need a functioning public transit system. We need our critical trauma care hospital to be up and running, and we don't need anyone bashing it. Okay, and then of course, we need to have our school system that is uh, enabling our children to graduate, of course, and be able to have career opportunities wherever they want to have it, whether it be college or vocation or whatever. And they should be functioning on each and every grade level.
Mm-hmm. What
But
would it
we
take
need
to
to be
get
in
like water?
control.
Because I was in Pigeon Forge last
Mhm.
year, and even when you go down to Alabama, like to Gulf Shores, every time I mean, it's so many different water parks. Like it's something for really invest in their city for the children to have something to do. What will it take to get like a Liberty Land back? Not only was it something for the kids to do, it also
Mhm.
provided summer jobs.
It did. Well, political will. You can't give in to the power brokers. Okay. Like on a county commission, it takes 7 votes. 7 votes, you can do whatever you want. Okay. Because it's 13 members, so you just have a majority. But it takes the political will to move the needle. And that's why it's so important. And that's why I had voter education forums this summer, September through November, to teach people or help inform and educate people about how voting, if you will, the connection between voting and survival issues, the connection between voting and issues you're concerned about. The person, you need to check out these people that you're putting in office. Let me just say to you, I was at a forum today and oh my goodness, it was scary. Some of the things that I heard two of my opponents saying. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but literally scared me to hear some of the things that they were promising and knowing that they may have a shot. They may have a shot at winning. So I'm saying that you all need to come out and listen and see if what you're hearing actually makes sense. Because number one, you mentioned we have some challenges. Yes, we do. But now is not the time to change horses in the middle of the stream where you got some challenges. You need to have qualified, experienced people at the reign who will know what to do about these issues, these continuing issues that started last year, and they'll be going on through past August. So you don't need a newbie in here who doesn't know what to do or will have to be trained. You're going to have to rely on experienced, qualified leadership, whether they've been there 4 years or not, or 2 years or not. But you need to maintain that stability. You see what happens when you do what? Disrupt stability. You get chaos. And aren't we seeing that right now?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It's a lot of chaos. I've been
It
just
is
even with the early.
dysfunction, chaos, and it's more to come. It's more to come. Trust me on that.
Let's see. Um, what would success look like by the end of your term? Because we know that county commission is term limited. What would success look like to you at the end? If you're elected again and by
Mhm.
the end of your term.
Well, after reelection, after I served 4 years, uh, then my success would show up as each community uh, neighborhood would have taxing authority, number one, which means not individuals or homeowners being taxed, but businesses who locate in our community. These different businesses, and there's one on every corner, maybe two or three. They take a lot of money out of our community. Believe it or not, we do have a lot of money in our community because we have a lot of social service money and federal dollars from food stamps and SNAP and all of that. They take money out of the community, but they fail to invest in the community. Uh, they fail to contribute to children's programs, parades, what have you. Christmas parade, tree lighting, none of that. So what I want to do is give each neighborhood taxing authority so that we would tax those businesses that are located within a certain mile radius. Just say High Park. whatever the radius or whatever the boundaries of Hyde Park are, whatever the square mileage would equal to, all the businesses within that radius would be taxed at a certain rate. And then as citizens, there would be an advisory board created, and the citizens would decide how to use that money. But it had to be used, put back into the community. That way we wouldn't go around with our hand out, okay? They would be putting money back into the community where they had taken the money out of.
Okay. Now let me
I
ask
know that's
you
a
this.
concept, and I'll have to work really hard on that. It'll be a lot of pushback, but I'm up to the task because I think it's the right thing to do, and our neighborhoods deserve an investment. It's been disinvested for too long, so it's now time for us to do something different. If you're not going to bring those high wage jobs, then we are going to find a way that we are going to invest in our communities ourselves. And trust me, Commissioner Henri E. Brooks, I have the public policy tool to make that happen.
Well, let me ask you this, Commissioner Brooks. When they bring the high wage jobs, how can we ensure that they don't then bring in a temporary service to pay the
Mhm.
citizens pennies like they've been doing?
That's Listen, let me tell you something. That's a public policy issue. Again, the legislature passed that law. So as long as it's lawful, they can continue to do it. Now, let me tell you what I did. I filed a resolution, uh, I guess several months ago before the General Assembly adjourned, and I sent it to allow Memphis and Shelby County, rather, to opt out of temporary services and right to work. Just, let on a temporary basis. Let's just try it and see. But no one picked it up. But that's what we need to do. But until we can get individuals who want to see us do better, as opposed to the folk we have up there now who do not want to see us do better, we're going to keep those temporary services. They've been there forever. And people know what happens with those. You see, it's they take money away from the unions, of course. Well, they diminish the power of the unions, and of course that's horrible. But that enables them to not pay their fair share again in terms of tax dollars.
So
Uh, Go ahead.
when these businesses come in, are there any negotiations? Because I do know that oftentimes, in order to lure them in, or to get them to come to the city, they get tax cuts. Can there
Yes,
be some type of negotiation before? And this is what I'm asking. Just a question before they ever even come, that you cannot bring in, because I know they do it under the guise of, oh, well, the temporary services vet, where you can get any investigative company to do background checks before you bring anybody in, if that's what you want to do. But but that's kind of what they use. Well, the temporary services, they kind of vet them for us, but I think it's just a way to consistently pay pennies to the people within the community. So is there something that could be before they come, when there are negotiations for them to come, can that be laid out that they cannot bring in a
but
temporary service?
yeah, well, you have to okay, understand what you're asking here. Look who is doing the recruiting. Who's bringing them in? We're not the recruiters. People who
Mm-hmm.
look like me. It's the Chamber of Commerce, and they want to
Oh.
keep this kind of plantation mentality. This plantation economy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
This retail warehouse economy. So that serves them fine. They don't want to change anything. They want everything to be 1950s, pre 1950s when it comes to the economy because it benefits them. They
Mm-hmm.
do not want high wage jobs because then we're going to get, now that's, we ask the question, well, why? Why do you not want to bring in high wage jobs? Why do you not want to have economic development and workforce development so people can get trained? Everybody can make six figures. Well, then you're going to get into another issue of some people not having someone to look down on and be better than.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can go deep on that if you want to, but we don't have enough time for that.
I know, I'm just sitting here thinking as
Yeah.
I even look at the people in the chat. I don't think that people, to include myself. I mean, I've heard about it. I don't think people really know. What's the word that I'm looking for? Um, Government, as
Uh-huh.
far as who runs what.
Right. Who does what and who's responsible
Right.
for what? Right, right. And you know what? And maybe some of that started, I don't know if there was civics or, civics is not in school, but I was told it was taken out in terms of the way I learned civics. It was called civics. But one of my colleagues say that she teaches American history, and civics is in that. But in terms of who runs the city, the structure of city and county government, the role of the chamber of commerce, the role of business, the role of education, all that, we don't get any of that. Our children don't get any of that, and so they grow into adults not knowing that. You almost now have to take a college course to learn that information.
Okay, I want to ask you this about housing.
Okay. Oh, we got a deficit of what, 30,000? Mm-hmm. Affordable. We need 30,000 more affordable housing. So if
Hmm.
that's what the stats say, the government stats say, then we need more.
We definitely need more.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Affordable, quality, affordable housing. And that's one of the things that we would be able to do economically once we get these pilots under control. I'm not anti-pilot. Do not think that I am. Pilots can be in a place, there's a place for them if they have a community benefit and if they're not drawing from our social services, our health services, our law enforcement services, our educational services that we have to pay for, and we are constitutionally responsible for paying for as a county.
okay. How can what's the word that I'm looking for? Because I think I know I know the answer to it, but I kind of want the people in the chat to know, how do you make county decisions more transparent to the residents?
Well, what I do, we I always publish when we're going to be on. I always let my constituents know. Well, they do know because the Red Book tells you. And then, of course, we have what's called, we publish our agenda in advance. So that's transparency right there. But, it's important for us to have town hall meetings. Okay. You need to tell constituents. In fact, I got something I'm dealing with right now. You need to let your constituents, the public, your employer, your employers know what's going on in the county. Okay. So right now, one of the hot issues is the rezoning, okay, of neighborhoods. And I'm getting a number of emails, for mostly against some of the housing rezoning. And I'm reading those, and I'm looking at the entire issue. But we must have town hall meetings. We must have, just bring people together, explain what is going on, and let people have input. And everyone has to have an opportunity to say what they like and what they don't like about, a particular issue that you put forth or that is in front of them now. Particularly something that has an impact on their home, neighborhood reconfiguration, and all of that. That will impact your home. New development coming in, that will impact your home. And your home is the biggest investment you have. So you need to be advised. So that's what I do. I have town hall meetings. I send out notices, and I try my best to get to my neighborhood meetings, organizational meetings in my district. That's, to me, it's transparency, but also Also, when people send questions or ask for documents, they are public documents. They are owned by the public. We shouldn't have to take 3 days to get you the minutes that were passed 4 months ago. I mean, it's already there. Click the button and send it on.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, because you're an incumbent, you're seeking it. We're in the early voting process right now. You're seeking reelection. What, and you're out there. What are some of the things that voters aren't asking that they should be asking?
Well, I think the main thing is voters need to understand or need to feel confident that this person is qualified. And this person has the acumen, if you will, to 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 do the job. That is, that they have a background of service. They've been exposed to some of the work that government work, or been exposed through an internship in government, and what have you. Um, I mean, you just can't elect someone that just stepped out of a nonprofit. You can't elect someone that just come out of a off a farm or CDC. That's good, fine, but who doesn't have a connection or exposure to the governmental process, and who really has disdain for the process. And I'm seeing that out here in these forums when we talk about process and we talk about structure and systems that we have to work through to get something done. Then you get these newbies or these wannabes who will say, "Oh, that's just an excuse." Oh no, baby, it's not. Mm-mm. There are processes and systems and structures that you have to work through to get something done. And if you think about it, everything has a process.
I got some people. I got somebody texting me right now. Please ask her this question. Okay. Um, what does it take? Because I remember a time where government jobs were, everybody wanted a good government job, and what this employee, this government worker is has just texted me is, what does it take for, I guess, the government, for the employees to continuously get um to get raises, I guess. That wouldn't, would that be like start with their department head?
Oh yeah, that's up to the individual uh, department. Like the mayor has raised, Mayor Lee Harris has raised all county workers up to $15 an hour. I mean, that's the minimum. Now, most of them make more than that, but that's the minimum, $15 an hour. Now, keep in mind, the state of Tennessee has not raised the minimum wage since we had, since minimum wage language came into the lexicon, okay? It's still 2.25. I mean, that's how archaic the state legislature is, and as a system, and then the mind's on the same level as archaic. But in terms of that question, that varies with each um, employer, each department or mayor, county commission, what have you, clerk. Hmm.
All right, Commissioner Brooks, I know we've been on here an hour already. Tell my audience why um you may have said that in the beginning, but for those that are just coming in, why you should be reelected.
Well, thank you, Tamara. First of all, thank you for inviting me to come on. I felt so comfortable talking with you. I guess I just feel like you're my little girl. But and of course, you know how much I love your dad. He was such a good friend. I really appreciate this opportunity to let people know that I am ready for reelection to the Shelby County Commission, District 7. District 7 includes North Memphis and the neighborhoods of Hyde Park, Douglas, Springdale. Um, what else? um, and Fraser, a little bit of Nutbush, the historic Valentine Evergreen District, Binghamton. And so those are some of the communities, of course, Crump Bungalow. But I love my district. I love working with my children. I have 20 summer camps, and I have those summer camps in churches. And I've been uh, hosting those summer camps since 2022 when I was elected. Uh, and I have them in churches because I know children need to have a safe place to go in the summertime, and they need to be able to, get their lunches and get their dinners. Also, I want to prevent that summer slide that happens when children are off during the summer and do not have any academic exposure. But again, I'm running because there's work. There's work that I want to complete. Uh, I want to continue the public policy that's going to make sure that we can reform the pilots, as I said earlier. I want to continue the public pilots, not pilots, but public policy, so that I can hold or make sure that every governmental entity that receives public money is held accountable. Every entity, every individual, whether it's a CDC, outside, external to government, or it's a nonprofit, any kind of nonprofit, or any entity that receives public money, I want to have put the public policy in place that would make sure that that money is spent wisely and that we know where it's going. I want to ensure that Regional 1 is rebuilt and rebuilt with inclusivity, economic inclusivity. And I want to make sure that we continue to open the road to community engagement throughout county government. Individuals must be engaged. And right now, we're in the process of updating the zoning codes for houses, if you will, and communities. I want to make sure that the individuals who are concerned about that are engaged with the Office of Planning and Development. Their voices are heard, their feedback is written down, and someone responds to it. I want to continue to do that. I started that when first elected, and I want to continue that to make sure that it becomes embedded. It gets baked in so that people will never forget. Oh, we got to make sure that our voters, not our voters, but constituents, the taxpayers, the employers have feedback and are engaged with our processes.
Now the face of the commission is getting ready to change. When I say that, you have some people that are termed out like McKell and all of that.
Yeah. Yes.
How important is it to how important is your county commission, and how important is it to ensure that you vote for the right people? Kind
Well,
of them audience know how it can affect them.
it's most important because right now as we said at the top of the show, we have some challenges in Shelby County. And I know we will have new people coming on, but you don't want a complete turnover of Shelby County Board of Commissioners, because there has to be some stability. It has to be some people there who can help the new people learn real quick, if you will, what we did or what is going on with the hospital. What is going on with the schools? What's the next step with the hospital? What's the next step with the schools? What's the next step with pilots? Uh, where's the court case? We've got to make sure that we elect experienced, qualified leaders, not people who are chasing titles or people who just come out of the sorority, people who just came out of the photo op or the Jack and Jill or what have you. No shade on Jack and Jill. I'm not sure I know what it is. It's important to ask those questions to make sure these people know what's going on. Ask them about process. Ask them about systems. And ask them, have they ever worked within a process and system, and understand that that's how you get things done. Because what I'm hearing on the campaign trail, as I said earlier, is very scary.
People are making promises and they know that that's illegal.
Well, you can't make promises when you don't know what you're making promises about. But this is real serious, and I have to chuckle. Otherwise, I probably break down and cry. But we're in changing times, and I'm a teacher. I will help. I want to help. I always have. So if anyone want to call me, they have questions. I'm willing to share whatever I can knowledge that I have that will be helpful to you. I'm more than happy to do that.
Well, Commissioner Brooks, I really appreciate you. Um, I really appreciate you coming on. It's something. I guess it was just meant to be because I was sitting at home looking at something, and when I said, "Oh my God!" I was just thinking when your phone number came up. I was like, "I was just
Yeah.
thinking about her yesterday."
And that's
So,
something. And I was thinking. I guess we were thinking about each other on the same day because I was thinking about you, and I didn't get a chance to reach out. But then when I got wherever I was going the next day, you popped back up, and I said, "I'm going to call them."
and I've been working on that situation that and
Okay,
and
good.
I'm gonna call you because I have some questions. But
Do
I
that.
love you. I appreciate
Love
you.
you more.
Coming on as always. You definitely was one of the first faces that everybody knew when my dad first. I told my dad, you just threw me on TV. You gonna do a show, and I'm gonna call Henri Brooks. She gonna come over, and I said, just threw me out there. He was like,
Yeah,
yeah, but she's known, and Janice Full of Love is known, and that'll bring the people to your show. In order for people to hear what we got to say and to push this
right.
agenda,
Hmm.
we got to have our own media. So I was like, Dad, you just threw me out there.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job, Tamara, and sometimes that's what you have to do. That's what they say. You throw the baby in the swimming pool, and well, not the baby, but they push you in. That's how I learned to swim at summer camp. Miss Withers, she just pushed me. It was either swim or drown.
I told
So
my
I learned
mom,
how to
I told
swim.
my mama, I said, Mama, I said, Commissioner Brooks said, I used to look at you and Rick's relationship, and it reminded me so much of me and my own dad. I said, me
Hmm.
and my dad, we had such personalities that was the same. We were butt heads quite a
Yeah.
bit. But I knew when to back down, okay, because he funded everything. When he started putting the T on it, and I'm not gonna do it, period. You gonna change that period. I said, okay, I'll go and back down, Dad.
Yeah. Well, that's dad. Dad says. Dad always gets the last word.
That's true.
Well, thank you so much, Tamara. It's so good to be with you. I hope this will not be the last time.
It won't be. You definitely got to come back. They said thank you for providing quality content. Well, I'm glad
Yeah,
you come
thank
out,
you
and I
all for
think it's
listening.
important. It's imperative that people know who their county commissioners are, because
Yes.
a lot of people within our city and county don't they don't necessarily know. So I think it's a good thing to start putting a face and letting people know who they are and that they
Absolutely.
can call their elected officials. A lot of people don't even know that you can call your elected officials. You can call them, or you can email them if you have questions, or you can go down to the county commission. What days are
Absolutely.
the meetings? Are they on Tuesdays?
No, the committee meetings are every other Wednesday, starting at
Okay.
8:30 a.m. And the commission meeting where we do all of the voting on everything, that's every other Monday. And we have one coming up this coming Monday. Let me give my telephone number that at the commission,
Okay.
222-222-1000.
Okay.
So you can call me. And if you need a red book, just call, and the receptionist will take your name and address, and she'll mail you a red book. And it has all of the information you need to contact county commissioners, city council, state representatives, any of the clerks, trustees, sheriff, all of that information, the city and county, is in that red book. And I
Commissioner
would
Brooks,
be
I
happy
know
to.
you got to go, but there's a young lady. Just with this last question, and I think it's a valid question. She says, "What do we do about all of the children who can't read?"
Well, you know what? We've got to ensure one of the things I suggest, and I know a lot of people won't go along with me on that, but we need to start asking our churches to step up to the plate and let's pick up some of this slack. Okay. A lot of our children cannot read, and that's horrible. I do not like that. But we can't hold them all back because you may have some 18-year-olds, 16-year olds in third grade. We need to ask some of our churches, and I'm sure that funding can be found to do some literacy classes. Let's ask some of our nonprofits to do literacy in communities, okay? As opposed to some of this entertainment that we tend to gravitate toward. Let's start looking toward having more literacy classes. And we have enough churches who have enough funding and revenue that can do that. If it's only 2 days a week, 3 days a week, children and parents, literacy classes in our churches.
And here's another thing too, I think that they should bring back. I don't think they have it no more. I used it when I was in school. It helped me so much. That
Mhm.
was the homework hotline. When I would get
Oh,
home, when I didn't
absolutely.
understand something, I would call and those teachers would help me with my math problem. I don't know if that
Yes.
has to be a budget set aside where they're working after hours, but that is needed.
Well, you know what? Yes. And you have a retired teacher organization. And I contribute to them because I'm a retired teacher. That's not why I contribute to them. I contribute because I have so much respect for them. They are willing to do. I mean, you can take. They'll take on any task. Uh, we can call on retired teachers. They'll staff a homework hotline. We don't call on them enough to do things. I attend some of the meetings, and they say that we're here, but no one's calling upon us to do things.
Oh
I put
wow.
mine to work in my summer camps with my literacy.
Well, I need to know. I'll start running. I'll like run an ad or something because kids definitely need to know
They
that
do.
there's teachers that they can reach out to if they have questions, especially like after hours. Because when I would be doing my homework, there were
Uh-huh.
things, especially I could that calculus and stuff really
Oh
gave
yeah.
me trouble. I always had to call the homework hotline.
Well, let me just say again, we'll figure out a way to tap into the Retired Teachers Association, and maybe something. That sounds like a great idea to me. Now that we're talking about it, maybe we can come up with a hotline and have certain ones to staff it. In various shifts.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That would be
Because they're
awesome.
willing to do it.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on. I
Thank
love
you.
you. You have a good day. I'm going to give you a call probably uh, real soon
Okay.
because I have some questions about something. But I
Okay.
love you. Thank you for
Love
coming on.
you.
You have a good night.
You too. Thank you all for listening and
Uh-huh.
watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Shout out to Commissioner Brooks for coming on. A longtime friend of my father's. It was Commissioner Brooks. She was Representative Brooks at the time. My late father. It was her, Miss Cornelia Crenshaw. Um, it was them that when my dad started to run for office, it was them that really got behind my father. Miss Commissioner Brooks started to, because she was already a representative, she started to introduce my dad into I guess, the political circle. She started to help to make him known. She started to help him with, especially after Miss Crenshaw had passed away. It was Commissioner Brooks and my dad always appreciated her for that. So my dad would always make sure that when she ran, that those organizations that he had a lot of influence over got behind her. So I really appreciate that. And then she was the first guest when I first started my TV show 14 years ago. Commissioner Brooks is something I want to pull that up too. Let me show y'all something. I think it's been 14 years because I was so excited. I actually put the show on YouTube, y'all. I should have pulled it up while she was on here, but I know she had to go. Let me see. I'm gonna show y'all. It's been 14 years. Uh Hold on one second, you all. Hold on, y'all. Let me see if it'll come up. Here it is right here. Oh my freaking God. Yeah, 14 years is a long time. Hold on, y'all. I had no idea what I was doing.
Merger.
Let me see how long ago that was.
And the splitting off of the municipal school districts and all that. And,
It's been 12 years.
Of course, they developed. It's
been 12 years ago.
I was really conflicted about spending.
And that was my first show, you guys.
For the attorneys, when in my mind, I sort of knew what the end was going to be, that this was going to happen. They would get their municipal school districts and the money they. So,
as you could tell, I was really nervous.
Of course. And I'm a grandmother. Okay. And a mother. And I worked in juvenile court for 11 years. I worked in just about every department.
Wow. It's been that long ago. Oh, wow. Wow, that brings so. And my dad was sitting I remember my dad was sitting there in the I was so nervous. Y'all see I had a piece of paper in my hand.
You have a chance of winning.
And I wrote down all the questions my dad told me to write down to ask her.
At the juvenile court, we have an opportunity to give our children a chance because
I'm looking at my hands now, and
so that's an open seat.
But I was shaking. My hands were shaking. I'm looking at how my hands is shaking.
The clerk's office is another real vital piece of this whole.
Yeah, the paper was shaking because I was so nervous. That was my first time ever going on air. Yeah. But shout out to everybody in the chat. I was looking at you all, I'm glad you all decided to participate. We all have a difference of opinion, and everybody's opinion. Listen, I had 3 husbands since then. Lord have mercy. Everybody's opinion is well respected, I'm glad that everybody was able to communicate within the chat. Everybody was able to communicate and do it tastefully. Everybody's opinions and stuff are very well, like I said, respected. Thank you, Joy Loves God. I really appreciate you all, coming and tuning in and giving feedback in the chat. That means a whole lot to me. I appreciate that so much. So y'all know it's election season. Stephen, that's what I was getting ready to say. Me and Steve Mulroy, okay? Steve Mulroy, I sent him a message last night, and he assured me that he was working on a day that he could sit up here for an hour, okay, and talk, okay. He, for some reason, he wanted to come and sit in the studio. But I told him this is better where you have a live audience, and then afterwards I'll download the show just like I'm doing all of the shows. Um, like on here, I am going to, like with Commissioner Brooks' show and like with Heidi's show, all of them. I download them, I interview them on here, and then I download them and put them on Comcast 31. And so I think Steve's show is going to be really good. I'm working on something with Mayor Paul Young. So I know that he's a very busy man, and Paul is a very good person. So that's something I'm working on. He had already said that he had already agreed to come on. Um, Steve had agreed to come on a long time ago. He reconfirmed it last night. So um, hey, so oh Lord, he better be ready. Oh Lord, Stephen is going to behave himself. Stephen is going to behave himself. Stephen will behave himself. I'm working. Also, another thing that I'm doing is I'm working to try. Well, it's gonna happen. I'm just waiting to see what date they give me. The Memphis FBI director is gonna come on. So usually when it's election season and things of that nature, is there more of the more of them are accessible, you know. And so I'm kind of trying to, while people are in the spirit of going and talking and stuff, I'm kind of trying to get. I know Chief Davis is not going to do an interview. Okay, now if she's when she sees that Mayor Young has given me an interview, she may want to do it. I kind of don't want to interview Chief Davis. I don't have any issues with Chief Davis, but I just kind of don't want to interview her. I've seen Chief Davis interviews, and she really um is media savvy. Okay, she gives real generic answers. So I mean, she gives real generic answers. So I really don't want to. I I kind of, what's the word I'm looking for with Chief Davis? I kind of sort of when you hear her talk, you could tell that she's not from Memphis, and I don't really think she has a connection to the city. Okay. Whereas when you hear Mayor Young talk, you could tell that Mayor Young grew up in Memphis, and he has a connection. He has a, like, y'all hear me, I be talking a lot of mess. Y'all know how I be getting on here talking crazy about what they, the Memphians and what they do and all of that. But I actually have a real strong connect. I love my city. I have a bond with my city, you know, as everybody does with their city, right? So I think Chief Davis is from, I think she is from, I don't think she's from Atlanta. I think she's from the Carolinas. So if you started to talk about whatever city it was she grew up in the Carolinas, I don't think her answers would be as generic, because I think she would have more of a connection to that city. So uh I think Steve Mulroy has been in Memphis for so long. I think Steve Mulroy went to Memphis Law School straight out of college. I believe he went to college in Memphis. So Steve Mulroy has really been in Memphis longer than he grew up in New York. Okay, because he's from New York. I think he went to college in Memphis, and then he turned around, went to law school in Memphis, and then he turned around, got a job at the law school. So he's been in Memphis basically his whole life. Shout out to Memphis. I love my city. I love my city so much. I stay the hell away from it. Oh Lord, have mercy. Mm. I tell you. um, Cypress always be trying to come back to Memphis. Don't let Cypress fool y'all now. Cypress be telling stories. Don't let Cypress fool y'all. He be trying to get to Memphis every chance he get. He do. He be trying to get to Memphis every chance he gets. Oh, I love putting on my body glaze. I love to take a shower so that I could put on my body glaze. I love the scents. Tonight, I done pulled out my body glaze, the banana pudding. I'm gonna be smelling like a banana pudding tonight, y'all. I got the oil and I got the glaze, and it shimmers on my skin, on my chocolate skin. Oh, I can't wait to get out the shower. Oh, it smells so good. I got my blueberry in, my blueberry pie. I'm gonna be smelling like a blueberry pie tomorrow night. Tonight, banana pudding. I love those scents, y'all. I love them so much. Oh my God. I've been going crazy ordering now. He says, what kind of questions will I ask Steve Mulroy? I'm definitely gonna ask Steve. I'm not gonna attack him, but I will ask a lot of the questions. Um, I will ask a lot of the questions that people want to know about. If you want me to bring up the Young Dolph case, I am going to do that. I'm going to ask him some questions about the Young Dolph case also. I'm not going to attack him though. Just those general questions that, a few of the general questions that people want to know. you know, um, yeah, just a few of those general questions. He's probably is because it's not too much that Steve could say about that case. Not until that case is now if you ask him in a few years when the case is totally over, he might can answer it. But I mean, regardless to whether the case is open in his office or not, he wouldn't be able to delve into a whole lot right now while it's still an open case. But like generalizations, if I said that right, general questions about Young Dolph and all of that, because and I'm gonna tell you, because I saw Steve at a event. It was like a mix and mingle, okay, event. He walked in, went straight to the bar. And that's at that particular event, they donated money to my organization. I was a recipient, and Steve walked in. He went straight to the bar, and I walked up and I started talking to him, and he was quite open, uh, um, and I mean, I don't think Quit gone to trial. When was Quit's trial? Did Quit have a trial this year, or was it last year? This was Christmas, around Christmas time. Had Quit already been sentenced? Quit didn't get sentenced. He got acquitted. Um, it was around Christmas. I think Quit had already had his trial. So I mean, he was quite open about how passionate he was about whatever it was that we talked about. Um, Okay, Quet was sentenced last year. This when I saw Steve, when I talked to Steve, that was what, last year around Christmas time. So I guess this was after Quet had been acquitted, because Quet was acquitted what, in last August or something. Y'all know my brain and stuff. I be having so much stuff going on. I be getting totally thrown off of sometimes about the years, what year we in. Um, all types of stuff. I was so upset this morning because I was gonna go take my garbage and stuff out. I'm real paranoid. Okay. So anytime I walk out my door, I locks it. Okay. I don't care if I am going to the end of the driveway. I locks the door and take my keys with me. And so um I had gotten upset. And I was like, dog, where my keys at? Where my keys at? My mom was like, you just going to the end. Girl, go take the girl. I was like, no, I like to lock my door. Where my keys at? And I was so upset. And I had my mom on FaceTime. She said, I know that ain't the keys in your hands. Yeah, I had the keys in my hands. And I was getting mad because I couldn't find them. I did that one with my kids, was like, Mom, you getting Alzheimer's. I call it Alzheimer's because a nurse told me that's how it is pronounced, Alzheimer's. There's a young lady that used to come into my chat named Paula. I haven't seen her in a long time. I think her name Paula Hall. She's a nurse, and she said it's they pronounce it Alzheimer's, but another nurse told me it was Alzheimer's, where the Z is silent. And I like to buy those big jars of hot pickles. I bought me a big jar, and I like to put them in a bag, in a little plastic bag, and put my peppermint in it, like I did when I was a little girl. And I said, dog, I could have sworn, what did I do with that pickle? And my daughter said, oh my God, Mama, you going straight to the old folks home. If the pickle was in my hand, y'all. So yes, I listen, remember the candy lady? The candy lady used to sell pickles. If I remember, when pickles were 25 cents, and then they went up to 35 cents, and then they went up to 50 cents, and then it went up to $1. 75 cents and then $1 for a pickle. And so yeah, when I go into Cash Saver, I buy the big jar of hot pickles, and it has the peppermints. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't trust everybody peppermints, because I don't like those soft peppermints that melt in your mouth. I order my peppermints, the hard peppermints. I need to order me some right now off of Amazon. The hard peppermints. I like those. And I stick those in my pickle. Oh my God, it'd be so good. My mouth watering right now. I take some vinegar, some apple cider vinegar, and put a little bit of salt in it, and then I dip it in there. I'm a country girl for real, child. I am a country girl. Cypress said I need to stop telling my age. 25-cent pickles. We used to get a quarter. I remember a quarter used to be a lot of money. We would get a quarter, and we can go get. I remember they had 1 cent candy from the candy lady. We used to fill up. We'd go get 25 pieces of candy. They had the cookies were 1 cent. So we would go, and you can get 5 cookies. To say, I want 5 cookies. I want 10 pieces of strawberry candy. I want 10 pieces of the other type of candy. That's what 20. Oh my God, we had 50 cent. No, if we had $1, we straight up getting a pickle, a freeze cup. The freeze cups was 25 cents. A pickle, a freeze cup, and that would be 75 cents. And then you still had a quarter left, so you could buy 25 pieces of candy. Those were the good old days. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. I still love stage planks to this day, like the original stage planks. If I go into a grocery, if I go into a gas station, I have to control myself. I know Steven is on here. I'll be like, I am not gonna look over there because if they got the original, the pink stage planks and the long boys, oh my god, that's what I grew up on. Like I be trying not to look in that direction, but it seemed like every time I look in the direction, I walk into the gas station. That's why I like to pay for my gas outside. Cause if I go in there, I'm getting me a stage plank and I'm getting me some long boys. My kids be like, Mama, what is a long boy? I've never even in my whole life heard of a long boy. Now, long boys were never a penny. They was always expensive. Long boys were 5 cents, and then they went up to 10 cents. And the real expensive candy ladies took them up to 15 cents a long boy. It's like, dog, if you got a quarter, I'm not gonna pay 15 cents for a long boy and only be able to get 10 pieces of penny candy. Oh yeah, Chico sticks. My mama liked Chico sticks. Like sometimes I would get Chico sticks. I didn't really care for them, but I would get them sometimes if I had $1. Chico sticks for me and lemon penny candy. Um, oh, now laters. I think about now laters. I think about now like when we were growing up in the hood. A lot of a lot of the way that we used to pronounce stuff, just listening to those older people, now laters. That's what we say. I want some now laters. We didn't even I didn't even realize until I got older that it was now and laters. Now laters. Um shoot, I used to shoot. If they had some really good now laters, I would get that and stick it in my pickle. Shit. And it was good too. I like the soft now laters. And what else? The now laters. Um, yeah, the now laters. But the now laters was what they was 15 cents and then it went up to 25 cents. 15 cents went up to 25 cents. Okay. Yeah, I got my laptop back. And I don't know what they rigged it up with, but it won't let me go on certain sites. It won't let me go on certain sites. When I click on stuff, it take a long time. I don't know what they downloaded on this thing. Um oh. Hold on, Cypress. I'm getting ready to send it to you. Hold on. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Hold on, you all. Okay, Cyrus, I sent it to you. I hope it's right. See if it works. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button for me. I took a class this morning for a 3-hour class um, to get my mortgage loan originator's license. It was a very informative class. Before it's over with, I know I'm gonna have my license and everything, child. That's what it seemed like. One thing I ain't gonna ever be is broke, cause I'm gonna always be able to do something. He said that was a yawn, and my friend is. I'm gonna be on for a few minutes longer. My friend has got something going on from out of Chicago, and got this little business thing that she's pitching, and I told her I would get on her conference line to support her. So I be trying to support people, child. I be trying to support them because I know me. I'll go lay in the bed, and because I have so much going on when I'm at home, I be wanting to just lay around. I'm like, I can't do it like that. But now I ain't gonna tell no stories now. If they have something, they ain't going. People are so weird now. I don't even like going to stuff. Because you don't ever know what they own. You walk in, these folks sick. And I ain't look, I we have weapons and stuff, but you don't be wanting to have to use them. What's up?
What going on?
Oh, nothing much. Yes, they are Deuce
I
Dizzle.
had to check my ID. You said something about long boy.
I know that's right. Did y'all have candy ladies over there in North Memphis?
Yeah, they want some of the dumbest you never.
They didn't
Yeah,
rob
they
them.
were.
They didn't go over there robbing the candy ladies over there in North Memphis, did because they like to rob.
No.
I'm joking. So,
Well, I don't know what they did out
how
there.
much was the long boys at your candy lady?
They were cheap. They were cheap. I can't remember what price, but they were cheap.
But you know what? Long boys was always, they was cheap. The way we think about it now, they were cheap in today's day. But back then, long boys were always like 5 cents or 10 cents. We wanted them, but we didn't. Then they took them all the way up to a quarter. It was like we're not paying no 25 cents for no long boy. I
I used
think
to like.
now when you go into the gas station when they have them, they cost $1.
I used to like to go get them from the store. So I can get the hooker.
I think I'm gonna go to Wayne's Candy and get me some and get the whole
Man,
darn
they don't
box.
have nothing like how they used to no more.
They don't.
No.
Oh my god!
I had to go get strawberry candy, strawberry cookies. Oh, that shit. They don't have none of this shit no more.
I hope they got some long boys. Steven, I don't think long boys are bad for you. It's coconut. It's
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah, 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 Steve.
So listen here, what did you think about my interview with Mr. N?
It was sound like a lot of dry snitching from the end, but it was like
Mr. N he ain't tell on nobody.
hey, he was dropping some blue clues. You gotta keep.
Well, now I thought I was sleepy last night. I kept dozing off when I was on here last night. That's why I had to go ahead and jump off. I went back and looked at it. What I mean, I don't think he was. I don't think he was telling them, but I do believe that he was throwing out subliminals.
Yes, sir. He always do.
Well, I think he was throwing out subliminals. He was to somebody telling them they better watch their back.
Quest, you might want to check your friend list. Have you seen Jessica Dawg lately? Has Jessica Dawg been in her?
I hadn't seen him.
Oh. Yeah, so I watched a little bit of you did the review on the interview last night. All that I can remember see because I went to sleep.
Yeah, he's done quite a few interviews. I was so tired. I really didn't feel like going over, but I think that was the most recent one that he did. I don't know what he got against Paper Route Wu, but he don't like Wu.
Well, he says he hang out with Wu people.
Yeah, but why he don't like Wu? Yeah, Wu is young enough to be his child.
Man, we don't know what Wu done said or did.
Well, I mean, if he said or did something after this Young Dolph thing, that ought to be understandable.
And people gotta quit thinking that man just hating on Dolph. If he don't agree with the music, he don't agree with the music.
No, he got a right to like whatever music he wants to like, but it's just obvious that he, I think he just be hating on him. It's not just because of the music. I think that he's got the same disdain for Young Dolph that he does for Paper Route Wu.
I don't understand why he got I don't understand. I don't see it what he got to do, but Wu, I can kind of understand that.
Now, why you can understand him not liking Wu?
Cause I feel like Wu probably said something to him about anything.
Said something to him about what?
Or said something. I don't tell you, them niggas was in their feelings, so they probably said something.
Well, I mean, he ought to understand that because he was involved.
Well, the man was proven to be innocent.
No, he wasn't proven to be innocent. He was found not guilty.
The same thing. He ain't going to jail.
There's a difference in being innocent and being found not guilty. That was just a shadow. That was doubt. That was in the minds of the jury. There was doubt. They didn't say he was innocent. They just had some doubt in their minds. Therefore, they felt like he did it. His attorney raised doubt.
Boy, Steve Morrow, y'all cold. Y'all cold.
When Steve Morrow come on here, you probably say him you his biggest fan.
He said, I'm his biggest fan.
Mm-hmm.
We're a fan of justice over here. Do y'all think justice was served in the Young Dolph case?
No, it's still an ongoing case. It's still open.
I think a lot of people feel like once Canadians get sentenced, this thing is gonna be all over. Everybody can go home and get back to their regular life.
What you think? Do you think?
Do y'all agree with that?
But do you believe that? Do you believe that's gonna happen?
I don't know. The way this man talking, I don't know. I would think if you beat the case, you go sit the hell down somewhere, but not him. He's got to be a star.
Well,
shout out to Mr. Nagil.
Yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button. Cypress White. I
Do y'all agree that he said that ain't nobody else left to charge in the case? I think he throw that up just for y'all. He said ain't nobody else to be charged in the case.
Who said that?
Come on, man. We heard Mr. Nagil say ain't nobody else to be charged in the case. He throw that shit up just for y'all.
Well, no, it depends. How he know? He don't give me he don't know. Well, I mean, he
Well,
should
he was.
know.
Well, he know because he was charged and he beat the case.
All he know is about his case. He don't know what goes on in a government office. Not unless he working with them.
I ain't gonna deny. But you can get the way. And he said he put emphasis on, and I think he do that just for y'all, because he said it ain't nobody else left to be charged in the case. So what y'all think about him
Yeah.
saying? How y'all feel about him saying ain't nobody left to be charged in the case? That's what I want to know.
He don't know. He don't be saying that at us. He be saying that I guess sending out signals to your Gotti, that he can breathe a little bit, or trying to make him think that.
No, I think he's sending the signal to y'all that y'all can hang it up and let nobody else be charged. I think he come directly at y'all.
He ain't sending no signal at us. He ain't sending no signal at us at all, because we got sense enough to know he don't know nothing. He don't. All he know about is his case, and he needs to be worried about that too.
Well, he can't be charged again.
Well, he can be charged federally. And if I see him get on the channel and say that he can't, he in trouble.
You gonna go off?
No, I ain't gonna go off. I'm talking about mentally. He in trouble if he thinks that he can't be charged. I'm sure Manny, being the big, big shot attorney he is, had to have told him that he could be. The feds, they have different statutes. Yeah.
Free third ball, man. They need to free my nigga third ball.
Dirtball did that to himself. What
Man,
they call
free my nigga third ball.
Dirtball did that to himself.
Yeah. Mr. Not Guilty said, ain't nobody else left to be charged. Y'all can hang it up in the rap.
Mr. Not Guilty. I don't listen to what Mr. Not Guilty say as it relates to that, because he out of his lane when he say that. Now, when he gets to talking about who was all involved in the murder and all that, I listen to him when he say that, because he in his lane.
Y'all don't want to believe when he said ain't nobody else left to be charged.
Why would I believe him? As he out of his lane when he starts saying stuff like that.
Maybe he talking about statewide. I don't know. We shall see. But
he out of his lane when he talk about statewide. He need to stick to the streets and tell him and keep telling Yo God it was involved, like he been doing when he get on there. He do the interview.
He didn't say Yo God was involved.
Yeah, well, he might as well have said it. He might as well have said it.
No, he just said that the man got a car shot up, and that was it.
And nobody in Memphis ever heard about it but him.
No, I never heard about it.
And nobody else ever heard about it either but him. He might have been the one shot it up here, since he know about it and don't nobody else know about it. I'm convinced it was him. He was taking money for hits. I guess it would have been easy to sit in a car and let somebody drive and then put a gun out the window, because he ain't jumping out of cars no more with his badass knees.
We don't.
Hey, get off of her. What is wrong with you? You let me catch you humping her again. Stay over here by me. What is wrong with him? This is your sister.
What happened?
I did wrong too. Look at his face.
What happened?
I caught him trying to hump on her. I don't play that.
Well, go get him somebody to hump on.
Well, I got them neutered so that they wouldn't have no nature, and they still humping.
Why they ain't
Hey, I don't know why he ain't he, because I had them neutered. I had the boys neutered. Not the girl, because I'm gonna breed her. She's golden. She's golden. She's a golden color, and I'm going to get well, my cousin has a pure white Yorkie, pure breed, just like she is, and I'm gonna breed them, and now I'm gonna sell the puppies. Get away from over there. What's going on over there? Get over here by me. I don't want you over there by the boys. You can't. I don't want you hanging out with the boys. You hang out with me. What you doing? Get back over there. I wonder if she and he. They know we don't do this. I don't believe in that incest stuff.
Somebody go get them. Okay.
They said somebody just tried to shoot Trump.
When now?
Let me pull that up. Why is you constantly trying to be about her? Don't play with me. Hold on 1 second. Get over here, Rainbow. Hold on. I think Trump running scared.
What they did? So what did happen there?
I don't see that. Where did it happen there? Because I'm looking it up. I don't see it. It said someone just tried to shoot Trump.
Oh, they might be fake news. Oh. See what you see on CNN.
They said Trump cancels Witkoff Kushner's Pakistan trip for Iran negotiations. That ain't why he canceled it. He know he can't. He know he ain't. It ain't good for him to travel.
Oh, you said he
Out of the country because they're gonna get him.
Yeah. So what they trying to shoot him in though?
I didn't see that. I just looked for it. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on.
What's going on? Don't upset me now. Anyway, Shuan.
Then we back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, somebody just hit me up saying whoever was shooting, they killed them. You hear me?
Huh?
They said somebody just hit me upset though. Whoever the shooter was, they took them out.
They tried to shoot Trump.
Yeah, they said they just took the shooter out.
It happened today.
Yeah, that's what they saying. They just hit me.
I wonder why I can't find it.
I don't know. Try to check CNN. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't see it nowhere.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping it's fake news though.
Hold on, y'all. CNN. It might be White House correspondents' dinner interrupted. President Trump and his staff have been rushed from the event. They sure got their guns. Something went on. Ooh, he might be staging. All right, y'all. I'm going to get off of here because I need to jump on my friend's conference line to support her. I appreciate you all getting up. I love you all. Make sure you all please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for coming up, Cypress. Talk to you all later.